Welcome to the JP8 Report. This is James Pierce of the JP8 Report, episode 333. All right, welcome to the JP8 Report. Proud that y'all will be here with me today. Man, I thought I was feeling great this morning when I did my morning brief, and then let me get my stuff set here. All right. And then by the time I was done, I was done. I woke up my wife and then went to bed from an hour and a half and got up so I could watch Bongino and eat a bowl of cereal and then do my rest of my show prep because I was done. And then so I got this all done here. So hopefully I survive this next hour and give you a good product that y'all are joining in to listen to today. Thank you very much for tuning in, and please follow the podcast. I gained a couple followers yesterday, which was really cool. Let's build up that momentum. Follow my podcast. Please just click that follow button, and then whether you're watching me live or on demand, click that follow button, give me a like, and then while you're live watching, like we have a few people on there already, go ahead and chat with us. I got my buddy Retired Rob 53 in here. He's my quote-unquote hall monitor. He's a really good guy. Even though it's Ash Wednesday, I'm surprised he's not at church today. But, so 47 days to Easter, if y'all didn't know, all the way. All right, so while we're at it, I'm going to lead the charge. I'm going to give myself an American flag in the chat. If you're here watching it, do the same thing. There it goes. Keyboard back. Okay, I'll be drinking hot chocolate through this. I got tea over here and cough drops, so please forgive me. I want to try to prevent this as much as possible. Oh, service is at 7. Okay, cool. All right, thumbs up to Rob. All right, so let's go. Before we forget, I told you it's Ash Wednesday. Rush Limbaugh passed away 5 years ago yesterday. I didn't even mention it. Completely slipped my mind because before Bongino, there was Rush and the Golden Mike. Remember him, okay? And then in the structuring note to AOC, or AKA Sandy Cortez, Venezuela is north of the equator. You need just buy yourself a new globe that is correct, okay? Magnetically correct. All right. That was just a joke, guys. Let's just have that joke, okay? Venezuela is north of the equator. All of it is. All right, so America 250, I was talking about this morning. This is a little bit of the plan to retake Boston. Okay, in obedience to your excellency's orders, we have considered the matters referred to us and beg leave to recommend the following signals to be given from Roxbury in case of a movement of the enemy to distress our people at Dorchester Hill. Signal in case the enemy begins to embark a flag on Roxborough Meeting House. If they actually land at Dorchester, 2 flags, one over the other. In the case of the number of enemy exceeding 2,000 men, a flag at the east and another at the west end of that meeting house. In case of reinforcement, in addition to the 2,000 men are seen embarking, a flag on the east and a flag on the west and a flag in the middle of the meeting house. This is pretty cool because I was in the Signal Corps in the Army, and we went by flags too. In case of the enemy begin to retreat, 3 flags, one above another. In case the enemy carry the works, the flags are to be struck. We further beg leave to recommend to your Excellency that should it appear from the signals at Roxbury any other way that an attack may be made upon Boston with good probability of success, we recommend that 4,000 men embark at the mouth of the Cambridge River, 2,000 of them to be furnished from Cambridge and 2,000 from Prospect and Winter Hill. 1,000 from each of those hills, the 2,000 from Cambridge to be commanded by Brigadier General Sullivan, and the other 2,000 by Brigadier General Greene, the whole to be commanded by Major General Putnam. Signal for embarkation, dependent hoisted on a Prospect Hill. The 1st Division under Brigadier General Sullivan to land at the Powder House. The 2nd under Brigadier General Greene to land at Barton's Point, to the south of it. Those who land at the Powder House and gain possession of Beacon Hill and Mount Wardham. Those who land at Barton's Point to gain possession of Chops Hill, and after securing the post, proceed to join the other division and force the enemy's works and gates at the neck, by which means the troops at Roxbury may be left in to assist the reduction of the town. The 2 divisions to consist of 8 regiments of 500 men each. The men be chosen, their arms well examined, and the officers to be the best and the most resolute experienced. 3 floating batteries here to go in front of the other boats and to keep the heavy fire on that part of town where the landings are to be made. And this is signed by General Putnam, General Sullivan, General Greene, and General Gates. So there's the plan. And it really didn't go exactly like that, because I'll be the spoiler. By the 17th of March, General Howe had the entire Boston evacuated of British troops. After there was some artillery fire going on, and he just took them and left. All right, so that's your America 250 for the 18th of February, 1776. So the threat of an attack usually deters the attack from happening. Okay, so we have the Dalmatian. I'm going to brevity this one. Smash burgers and dogs, Copper's Cove. Fresh ingredients. They're open from 11 to 2 for lunch, and 5:30 to 7 for dinner. Lunch is Tuesday through Saturday. Lunch is from Monday through Saturday, and dinner is from Tuesday through Saturday. They're in the Copper's Cove on the west side behind Bush's Chicken. All right, so I'm back. Man, I was doing good. Hold on. I'm beginning to wonder if my cough drops are expectorants instead of lozenges. All right, so Guthrie update for Nancy Guthrie. Okay, so before I put the slide over, I'm going to, where is my mouse? There it is. So go over here. I'm going to refresh and see anything. Okay, so I'm going to put it on here so everybody can see the hoodlum, evil guy on the right who took Miss Guthrie, who we think took Miss Guthrie. And while you're looking at that, okay, so still no vehicle description in Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. There's a memorial. Now, I'm looking for something. Okay, I know the reward is back up to $200,000. But there's something I just read about they're looking for a new clue. And I don't see it. I heard about it right before I laid down. Please don't tell me I'm starting to dream of all this. Just now, weeks, nope. It says former FBI agent Stuart Kaplan on the Ingram, which is last night. It's what the FBI is not telling us. I know my agency, I tell you, they are in a deep dive in forensic analysis. Okay, so the thing I was reading earlier, I can't find now. Let me go a little bit more. Nope, they're not seeing nothing else on here. Wow, that's unbelievable. Okay, I'll go back on here. Let's see. Yeah, okay. So if something comes up, I'll let y'all know. All right, let's get on with the JP8 report. So y'all saw what I named the podcast this morning. I can be facetious at times, but this is too good to be true. Mark Kelly saying he's eyeing a run for the White House in 2028. Mark Kelly, Democrat Arizona, has confirmed he will seriously consider, quote unquote, a run for president in 2028, opening the door for a potential White House bid. Kelly's comments to the BBC, I don't know why he couldn't say it on American television. He had to say it on British television on February 16th, which was yesterday, 2 days ago, came as he remains locked in a legal and political battle with the Trump administration. In an interview, the retired Navy captain and former astronaut made clear he has not yet decided on whether to launch a campaign, but confirmed the idea is under consideration. I have people talk to me about it all the time, but we have an election in 2026 that I'm really worried about. We've got to get tough. We got to get through that at first. I will make a decision. Kelly emphasized that any choice would involve discussions with his wife, Gabriella Giffords, their daughters, and identical twin brother, also a former astronaut. I think his head is stuck in the clouds. With my wife Gabby, my 2 daughters, and my brother, I have a twin brother who also was an astronaut. Think about it for a second. How would this affect him? We're both identical twins. So, I'll seriously consider this because we are in some seriously challenging times right now. As previously reported on Fox News, a federal judge blocked the Pentagon from demoting him on February 12th over a controversial video about illegal orders. A jury declined to indict him and 5 other Democrat lawmakers on seditious conspiracy charges. The dispute over his 90-second video Kelly recorded with fellow Democrats, reminding U.S. service members that they are not obligated to follow illegal orders. Our laws are clear, Kelly said in the clip. You can refuse illegal orders. President Donald Trump had labeled the video seditious behavior, and I do too. He suggested the lawmakers be arrested. The Justice Department sought indictments, but a grand jury refused to bring charges. War Secretary Pete Hegseth also moved to initiate retirement-grade determination proceedings against Kelly, potentially reducing his rank from Navy captain and cutting his retirement pay. Kelly sued, arguing the action was unconstitutional retaliation for protected speech. U.S. District Judge Richard Leon, agreed to temporarily block the demotion, writing that the administration had likely violated Kelly's First Amendment rights and warning against shirking the First Amendment liberties of retired service members. Hegseth has vowed to appeal. This will immediately be appealed. Sedition is sedition, Captain. In a February 17th interview with the BBC, which was yesterday, Kelly also reflected on his career. I don't know if it'd be if I'd be the best person for the job. I'm a lot different than most in the other 100 senators there are. I'm one of a very few engineers. I'm the only person to graduate with a graduate degree in engineering in the United States Senate. I've got combat experience. That's kind of rare. Dropping bombs from 30,000 feet is not it is rare, because unless you engage with the enemy within 100 meters, that's not real combat. Okay, well, I may give it a little bit more than that. All right, but the fact is, he dropped bombs and missiles from 30,000 feet. It's no comparison what Army soldiers and Marines go through. All right, so I think his head's stuck in the clouds. I don't think he has a chance of winning any type of Democratic nomination. He's only in the Senate because his wife was almost shot and killed, unfortunately, in Arizona and Tucson several years ago. I'm glad the guys behind bars that did it. Senator Kelly's approval rating for sending the Democrat ticket is only 4.7% in the Real Clear Politics poll. All right, so I don't think he's got a bad chance at all. So he needs to stay in the Senate or get unelected, which, the way things are going in Arizona, he just might. Because he does nothing. And neither does the guy that took Gabrielle Gifford's place, because he's the other senator that's in the... Isn't that amazing? So, look at it like this. Gabby Giffords gets almost assassinated. And she's alive, which is great. But her husband becomes a U.S. senator in Arizona. And her friend, which was, I believe, their chief of staff for her, became the other senator, who at first took her House seat and then became the other U.S. senator from Arizona. So she has direct influence on both of them in the United States Senate. Just saying. All right. Where's my pencil? Hopefully that makes sense. All right. John Thune. Wait a minute. Before I get to that, I got another one. I'd almost changed the name of the podcast because I saw this right before I came in and I printed it off. You know, the Democrats are saying the Republicans can't win nothing. If it's an off-year special election, the Republicans are guaranteed to lose. X ain't happening here. Georgia state Republicans are set to expand the majority after attorney Stephen McNeil won Tuesday's special runoff election in Senate District 18, defeating Democrat Lamario Nicholas Brown in a closely watched Macon area race. I guess the Democrats thought they were going to win this one too. According to unofficial results in the Georgia Secretary of State's office, McNeil secured 59% of the vote, 59.42 to be accurate, against 40.58%. If you're a Democrat, you may not understand this, but this is a 19-point win for the Republicans. So, And I've already seen polls for Tarrant County, where Miss Lambanus, I think that's how you pronounce it, lost. She's going to win in November also. McNeil will represent Macon-based district which includes Crawford, Monroe, Peach, and Upson counties, along with portions of Bibb and I think they pronounce it Houston counties. In Texas, we say Houston, Texas. Houston counties. I say that because we used to live in Martinez, Georgia, but they pronounce it Martinez, Georgia. Okay, so that's why I said that. The seat became vacant after Senator John Kennedy resigned last year to prepare for a run for Georgia Lieutenant Governor. 6 candidates competed in the January 20th special election, but none received more than 50% of the vote, triggering Tuesday's runoff. The race drew attention from top Republican leaders eager to maintain control of the seat, and on Tuesday, Governor Brian Kemp urged voters on social media to support McNeil. Writing, polls are now open in Senate District 18. Make a plan to vote today for conservative Republican Steve McNeil. We cannot afford to let the Democrats flip the seat and push the same agenda to bolster the crime and inflation. Lieutenant Governor Burke Jones also celebrated the outcome online, posting, SD18 delivered. Congratulations to Steve McNeil, State Senate, over his victory tonight. When Republicans show up, we win. Looking forward to working together to deliver for Georgia. The McNeil campaign on conservative platform to include cutting taxes, reducing government spending, supporting school choice, backing law enforcement, protecting the Second Amendment, supporting President Trump's immigration policies. He also emphasized support for Georgia farmers and agribusinesses. And Brown, he's a farmer, small business owner. Okay, so mark one up for that. In less than a month, Marjorie Taylor Greene's seat will be up for election. I believe that's March 10th. That's a Tuesday, so that's got to be right. All right, so Georgia's Republican Party on Senate District 18 won by 19 points, or 5,000 votes. Okay, that's really, really good news, guys. Now, give me an American flag if you're watching this. I'm gonna drink the hot chocolate. All right. So, and then next is John Thune. He guarantees the voter ID vote in the Senate despite Schumer and Democratic opposition. He says we will have a vote. And Senator John Thune is ready to put the Senate Democrats to test on voters ID, including the SAVE Act has earned the backing of 50 Senate Republicans, including Thune. The other three are they haven't committed yet is Tom Tillis, Mitch McConnell, and then Lisa Murkowski. Murkowski said she is a hard no. All right. We will have a vote, Thune said. His comments came as he crisscrossed his home state of South Dakota, where he and Republicans in their respective states are outselling their legislative achievements as primary season fast approaches. The Senate does not have a lot of accomplishments they can bring out to the American public of what they've done, because they've stonewalled everything, almost everything that came about that the president has wanted. Now, get out there and pass the SAVE Act for the president, that's something to celebrate. Thune viewed opportunity for a floor vote as a way to have Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and his caucus explain to voters why they would block a legislative push to federally enshrine voter ID and proof of citizenship to register to vote. Because 84% of the American public support and want voter ID and citizenship to vote in federal elections. We will make sure everybody's on record. And if they want to vote, and if they want to be against ensuring that only American citizens vote in our elections, they can defend it and they can go out and campaign against Republicans this fall. But the political makeup of the Senate will prove a tricky path to navigate if Republicans want it to pass. Though the majority of Senate GOP backs the bill, at least a handful of Senate Democrats joining them, it is destined to fall victim to the 60-vote threshold. And Schumer has time and again made clear that the majority of Senate Democrats view the legislation which passed the House last week as a tool for voter suppression. And so Republicans look at other options. One option is doing away with the filibuster, or the next one is doing a traditional talking filibuster where you get each senator gets 2 attempts to explain why or why not they want the legislation to pass, and then at the end of everyone having the opportunity to speak twice, they vote. Some fear taking the path would paralyze the Senate floor. Thune acknowledged that concern after previously White House's press briefing amid growing tensions with Iran. Okay. A lot of people focus on limited debate, and yes, it's something that could drag on for weeks and literally, for that matter, months, Thune said, but it's unlimited amendments, meaning that every amendment, there are no rules, and so every amendment will be 51 votes. He argued that he argued that there are several politically challenged amendments that could hit the floor, but that would put members in tough re-elections in a hard spot and possibly cause them to pass, which would also be detrimental to the bill in the end. Thune didn't shut down the idea of turning to the walking filibuster, especially if in the end the lawmakers being able to actually pass the Save America Act. But in the Senate, outcomes are rarely guaranteed or politically divisive legislation. Do the talking filibuster. Let's get this passed. You're talking about major legislation. This would be the hallmark of securing our elections for generations to come, because it would ensure one person, one vote. That is an American. All right. Now the Department of Justice, man, I'm barely going to make it through this. What time we got? What, 12:30? Oh man. Okay. Arguing that non-citizens could be on state voter rolls, something that is illegal under federal law. The Trump administration is escalating its campaign to obtain voter registration data ahead of the 2026 midterms, despite a string of federal court setbacks. The strategy has unfolded on 3 fronts: cooperation from Republican-led states willing to share voter data, lawsuits against roughly 24 blue and purple states that have refused, and legislative push in Congress to tighten national voting requirements. Federal judges have so far rebuffed the Justice Department's high legal demands, but the Trump administration is widening its campaign as the election draws near. You don't stop. You just keep trying. Keep pushing forward. Do not quit, Miss Bondi. Just keep it going. The problem is blue states like Oregon have no interest in that kind of verification, so they are not actually doing what they ought to be doing, which is running database comparisons with the Department of Homeland Security. So the one way you can get this is you got to get federal judges in there that are conservative, that know what they're doing. And the only way to do that is have Mr. Thune pull the blue slip and not allow senators to have direct influence on the type of judges that he can appoint, which is in real thinking is only the president has the right to nominate someone for the federal bench, and the Senate advises and consents to that nomination. They should not have any veto power at all, which kind of judge or U.S. attorney is hired by the federal government, except for the advise and consent. A blue slip is if, like in Minnesota, they got 2 Democrat senators there, right? If President Trump appoints a conservative federal judge, either one, that would be, I can't think of who the senator, Klobuchar and Tammy Baldwin, I think it is. Either one of them pull their blue slip for that federal judge won't even get a vote in the United States Senate or even a hearing. So that needs to be done away with. That kind of reform in itself can change the way court cases are being fought in the United States judicial system. All right. Hope that is clear as mud. Let's see. White House holds press briefing. Okay. And then we're about to get to another good story in just a minute. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate that. Okay, so midterms. Midterms are starting kind of early here in Texas. We have our primary on March 3rd and the runoff on 26th of May for November's general election. Trump's team in the White House is already having strategy sessions, and they're spotlighting the economy to help Republicans maintain their majority in the House and in the Senate, right? It's all about the economy. This is written by Peter Doocy, Patricia Ward, and Paul Steinhauser. That's the message the top members of President Trump's political team as they huddled in a closed-door strategy session with the Trump administration cabinet members and their top aides on how to best sell president's agenda to voters in this year's midterm elections. The meeting, which was confirmed by Fox News as familiar sources with the gathering, was hosted by Susie Wiles, James Blair. According to sources, the message during a slide presentation by Chief Pollster and strategist Tony Fabrizio was that the economy will be the top issue on the mind of voters and that the White House needs to spotlight its efforts on easing affordability, which keyword is stop the backbiting amongst everyone between the White House and Congress and the House and the Senate, and get away from the Epstein files. Make sure everything is focused. I can tell you right now, doing my research for show prep, it's hard. It's taking me longer to show prep because the Nancy Guthrie case is sucking the oxygen out of the room, and anything else that interferes with that sucks the oxygen out. So anything else political is taking a second and third chair back from everything else. So you really got to look for it. So if people are paying attention just to the Guthrie case and the Epstein files, there's not going to be anything else for people to listen to, and then they turn off the news. That's exactly what happens. And then President's message gets lost. The meeting was held as the GOP works to define their control of the Senate and their razor-thin majority in the House in November midterms. Republicans are facing traditional political headwinds in the midterms when the party in power usually loses House and Senate seats. Republicans are also dealing with the president's continued underwater approval ratings. Depends on which poll you actually. Did you hear that the Gallup poll is going to stop their daily poll. So no one's going to know what the president's daily poll numbers are anymore. They just gave up as of yesterday, I believe. Republicans are dealing with the president's continued underwater. Okay, while Democrats have scored a series of ballot box victories and overperformance in off-year and special elections until yesterday, during Trump's second administration, thanks to a laser-focused affordability and amid persistent inflation, which is lower. That's why the press is misconstruing everything to make the president look bad. That's from me. The president wasn't at the meeting, according to sources, but is expected to spotlight the economy and his administration's achievement when he holds a political event Thursday in Battleground, Georgia, probably to celebrate Senate District 18 also, which is holding key elections for the Senate and governor this year. And the president will even have a bigger spotlight next week when he delivers the State of the Union on Tuesday. Okay, VP J.D. Vance offered a taste of messaging in an interview Tuesday on the story, and he pointed to the former president, Autopen Joe Biden administration. Vance argued, "We're still digging out of the hole the Democrats put us in." And I think the question we're going to be putting out to the American public is, do you want to give the government back to the people who frankly burned down the house and made most Americans less wealthy and much less safe? Or do you want to double down on the president's leadership? The meeting was at the Capitol Hill Club. I don't even know where that is. All right. So, that being said, stop the planning and execute. Let's get this over. Let's put a knife in them, turn it, and call it a day. We got to win. We got to win. Oh, man. All right. So next, if you look at my show notes, you'll see a deal. Where are the New York jobs? Well, I'll tell you where they're at. They're in Texas. And Mondami is going to make it where more people are going to move to Florida and Texas. More people from New York go to Florida, and more people from California go to Texas. And as long as they don't bring their stupid, failed politics with them, as long as they're bringing their conservative politics with them, we'll take them wholeheartedly. If not, stay in New York, wither in the misery of what you voted for. I might make it. Okay, New York is losing thousands of jobs to pro-business Texas, and Mayor Zoran Mamdani's push to raise corporate taxes would only accelerate the exodus. An analysis released Tuesday by the Big Apple's top corporate advocacy group claims. The report issued by Partnership for the City of New York concludes that the Lone Star State's low tax, pro-growth policies and successful recruiting corporations are diverting jobs from Wall Street firms fed up with Gotham's high-tax, business-hostile policies. New York is already ranked last nationally for tax competitiveness and is consistently ranked among the bottom states for starting a small business and for all business growth, for small business growth, the partnership's report said. What's his name? O'Leary, Kevin O'Leary called him Real Estate Agent of the Year. Mamdani has proposed increasing New York's corporate rate from 7.25 to 11.5. That's a 4.25% up. New York City's top combined marginal corporate income tax rate, which includes other levies such as MTA, corporate surcharge, would rise from 17.44 to 22.48 if the governor approves it. Wow. That's a lot of money. No wonder people are moving except for the poor people, and they can't afford to move, and they're stuck in misery. Texas, meanwhile, has no corporate or state income tax and imposes a modest 0.75% franchise tax. And it also says, what it's not saying in there is that taxes for small businesses are exempt all the way up to $125,000 now, as is this last legislature. Courts in Lone Star State are more friendly to business interests compared to litigation-happy New York, and it's easier to incorporate and open stores there, as the report noted. It shouldn't come as a surprise. Then the partnership said that Texas is chipping away at New York's preeminence in the capital of the U.S. capitalism. And I have a whole list of companies and stuff here. It's already 12:41. We won't go into it, but some of them, 2024, Texas surpassed New York State as the most financial service employees. And then 23 companies relocated their headquarters from New York to Texas. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo. Financial services recruitment in Texas surpassed New York's with 9% more job postings in 2025. And while New York's financial services industry still remains more productive, generating $330 billion in gross regional product, 71% more than Texas. Texas's financial services sector grew faster over the decade, with GRP, gross regional product, rising 121% compared to New York's 72%. So we're gaining ground fast. And then we have our own stock exchange now here in Texas. And Texas isn't winning because it's a one tax lever. It's executing a coordinated, multi-dimensional strategy to attract jobs. Capital from New York is falling into their trap. Our report from the day outlines that actually happening, that how we are losing. Facts matter here. And Mamdani on Tuesday said we have to raise property taxes if Hochul and legislature don't boost income taxes on the rich and corporate taxes. Everything is building. Wherever you look, there's building everywhere. Even here in Copper's Cove. Last week, the U.S. government awarded Copper's Cove a new VA outpatient center, 190,000 square feet. They're going to build right here in Cove. And the only reason why they're going to build it right here in Cove, because our population is growing. When I got elected to the city council in 2015, we had 32,000 people in Copper's Cove. The population was set the other day from the Census Bureau at 41,000 people in Copper's Cove as of 1 January 2026. So in a matter of 9 years, 11 years, something like that, our population has risen 9,000 people. So that would be about a 20% jump in population. That's why we're getting more businesses here in Cove. And we're still staying conservative, which is good on our part. All right. Keep them coming. Sooner or later, we're going to get a car manufacturing plant here in Copper's Cove, and we'll be on the map. All right, where are we at? 12:44. All righty. So next, Stephen Colbert got mad at CBS because it barred him from interviewing James Tellerico. James Tellerico was running for the Democrat nomination for the Senate in Texas, and due to the fairness doctrine, Barry Weiss and CBS told him he could not interview him because he did not have equal time for a Republican to be on there with him. So Stephen Colbert says, "Well, sir, you're the chairman of the FCC, so FCCU, because I think you're motivated by partisan purposes yourself." No, sir. You can take yourself back to Canada if you believe it like that. Fair is fair. If you go on a cable network, it's a whole different world. If you're on a public domain where you buy your frequencies from the government, it's a whole different world, right? Follow the rules, follow the rules, follow. How about this? Don't get political in your talk show. Just talk to actors and have fun. Talk about movies. Isn't that great? Help them sell more movie tickets. We'll try it like that one. Stupid good for nothing person. Alrighty. Oh man. Alright, so let me get my bearings back here. Alright, so I'm going to read wow. Okay, I'm going to do an ad read real quick. So I'm just bear with me for a minute here. We got to pay some bills here. They can cancel your accounts. They can freeze your cards, decide what you're allowed to buy, say, or support. Big banks and financial institutions have total control, and they use it. That's why financial independence matters more now than ever. Introducing Rumble Wallet, a wallet built for real freedom. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company. Buy digital assets like Tether, Tether Gold, and Bitcoin in one secure purchase. No permission, no middleman, no cancel button. And when you want to support the creators that you actually believe in, you can use Rumble Wallet app to directly tip content creators secretly, instantly, and without interference. This isn't a credit line that they can shut off. It's your wallet permanently. Yours to protect your future. Yours to protect your family. When the system fails, when institutions turn on their own people, financially sovereignty is the difference between security and vulnerability. Rumble Wallet isn't about politics. It's about freedom, ownership, and protecting what's yours. Take control today. Download Rumble Wallet now and step away from big banks for good. True ownership, true protection, true financial freedom. And that's Rumble Wallet. All right. I use it. I have it installed on my platforms. All right. Get back here. If you see the word tip next to the JP8 report, that allows you to bypass Rumble and directly tip me through the Rumble Wallet, which is really good thing to do. So you really don't want people knowing how you actually go and support us. Okay, I'm one of the creators here on Rumble. I may not have the numbers of 10 or 20 or 30,000 people an episode. I wish it was like that, but it's not. But if you want to help take care of me, drop me a tip in there, and nobody needs to know. I won't tell no one. It's just there, all right? And it takes you, I think it took me about a couple minutes to establish my Rumble Wallet, all right? So we go with it there, all right? So that was Rumble Wallet. And it's on the iStore and Google Play. You can download it, all right? All right. So next thing, Wesley Hunt. He's running for the United States Senate here in the state of Texas. He's running against Ken Paxton, and he's running against John Cornyn, who is the incumbent. Yesterday, Wesley Hunt filed a criminal complaint against John Cornyn campaign staffer for doxing his family. So Congressman Wesley Hunt, who is running for Republican primary for the U.S. Senate in Texas, filed a police report Tuesday against senior campaign staffer for one of his GOP opponents. Posted a 2016 provisional ballot that included personal information about Hunt and his family. The document included the last 4 digits of Hunt's social security number, his driver's license number, and a home address. Matt McEdwack, who serves as the communication director for Senator John Cornyn's re-election campaign for U.S. Senate, posted the unredacted documents on his X account on Friday. John Cornyn's account then reposted the now deleted images. Sources for the Hunt campaign told Fox News that when asked about law enforcement officer if he would like to press charges, Hunt said yes. Harris County Constable Mark Herman confirmed the report has been filed. A source from the Hunt campaign told Fox News Digital that law enforcement officials intended to subpoena X to receive the deleted post, which showed Hunt's personal information. Hunt accused McEdwack and the Cornyn campaign of doxing his family in a statement on Fox News Digital. The tragic situation involving Savannah Guthrie is a painful reminder how vulnerable our family truly is. Now, I got a whole bunch more I can read on this if I want. But I'm going to tell you, I've been seeing, man, come on, stay up. I've been seeing campaign commercials come out against Wesley Hunt. I'm like, who in the world is trashing Wesley Hunt? That bad, dirty. And it came out yesterday. I saw another Wesley Hunt commercial, really derogatory. I mean, bad against Wesley Hunt. There was no doxing in it or anything. But at the very end, it was personally approved by John Cornyn. So he's got to be behind this. I don't think Ken Paxton is. What it is they are dirty at the top and they're trying to push Wesley Hunt down as far as possible to prevent a runoff. And with people out there saying that John Cornyn has Wesley Hunt in his campaign, it's sadly mistaken, because why would John Cornyn spend that kind of money to go after Wesley Hunt unless it's for the real deal? I honestly think Wesley Hunt would be a better... I mean, people may say, well, he's not as conservative as you think he is, but people do change. Look at our president, the way he's come about in the last 20 or 30 years, how much conservative he's gotten. People change. He's in the president's corner. He supports him wholeheartedly. He's not a turncoat. He is a steadfast America First Republican. Doxing him does no good at all. It shows the top of campaign that John Cornyn is actually performing against Ken Paxton and Wesley Hunt. All right. So, man. Oh. You know, I could save these two for tomorrow morning. I want to talk about early voting here in Texas. Early voting, there was, we had, I don't know if I said it earlier, we had 250 people voted at the Coppers Cove Early Vote Center yesterday, and 271 people that voted at the Gatesville Early Vote Center. We have like 3 times the population Gatesville has, and there's no reason why Cove should coming in less than what Gatesville does. But we had 521 people totally that voted yesterday, which is good. I can't wait to see the numbers for the day. But get out there and vote. And then We have 10 propositions. I showed these this morning. I'll show you them really quick. Like, we have 10 props. These are developed by the state Republican Executive Committee and then put out for propositions for this summer's Republican convention, and then for us to debate over and develop our plank, what we want to do and stuff. They're not going to necessarily become laws, but they could eventually become laws. I support all of them, but half of the first one. I do believe that property taxes should be based on the purchase price of your property. Like, I bought my house for $170,000, and right now they say it assesses like at $295,000. I think you should be only taxed on the amount that you spent or when it was first assessed, because some people can actually read into that rule and like, you know what, I'll sell you my house for $5,000, and then they would be taxed on $5,000, which is a scheme, all right? Yeah, you have to look at it like that. It's a scheme sometimes. And then we have the Lincoln Reagan dinner that's coming up this Saturday here in Gatesville. It's at 6 p.m. Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick is going to be our guest speaker. It's $60 a person or $100 a couple, or you can still buy a table if you want. There's like a couple tables left. You can buy your tickets on the QR code there. Also, you can buy them by going to my show notes. At the bottom, you'll see Coryell County Lincoln Reagan dinner tickets. Go to that link and you can buy your tickets there, or you can just leave a straight out donation to the dinner. All right, but I'm going to be there. My daughter is actually going to be there now, and my wife is going to be there with me. All right. So what we're looking at, we're at 12:57. Let's do a couple of our Texas scorecard stuff. I might just make it. All righty. So Texas scorecard. Nope, we already read that one. All right, let's go to this one right here. Texas Republicans say Sharia concerns should lead to legislative actions. As Republican voters determine the fate of ballot propositions urging Texas to ban Sharia law, so that was Prop 10 that we just read. Lawmakers in D.C. and Austin say the vote could mark the beginning, not the end, of a broader political push on the issue. Chip Roy, Keith Self have launched a Sharia-Free Caucus, America Caucus, in the U.S. House last year, whose group has grown to 40 members from in the caucus, including 10 from Texas. And lawmakers say it continues to gain traction. The fact that it's 40 really quickly is a pretty big deal, Roy told the Texas Scorecard. Following a private roundtable discussion with lawmakers and policy experts, caucuses don't spring up that fast. I suspect they will grow quickly. A lot of people are understanding why this is an important issue, and it's Congressman Self said the caucus rapid growth reflects big concern among lawmakers and constituents. We're adding people every week. And then it talks about early voting here in Texas, which is Prop 10, as a yes or no about banning Sharia law, which is incompatible with the U.S. Constitution and the Texas Constitution. All right, so we'll delete on that one. We just read that one. Sid Miller accuses, this was about Sid Miller. Texas Agricultural Commissioner, he's facing Nate Sheets as a competitor in the Texas primary, is accusing big tech of meddling in the Republican primary after his largest social media platform, went dark just as early as voting began. Miller's campaign said on Tuesday that Meta, the parent company of Facebook, has engaged in a blatant election interference. After the campaign page with 1.1 million followers were suddenly locked out at midnight on the first day of early vote in the Texas primary, the campaign says the page has been a critical tool for reaching rural Texans and sharing messages on agricultural policy, water, border control, property rights, and conservative priorities. After mounting public criticism and complaints from Miller's team, Meta briefly restored the page at 1:20 p.m. That's 12 hours, 13 hours. The campaign reports. Staff rushed to post a backlog of content, but the window lasted only about 5 minutes before the page was locked out again without warning or explanation. Miller didn't mince words in responding to the sudden shutdown. This is the swampiest BS yet, Miller said. On the very day the early vote begins, Meta shut down my pages with over 1 million followers, people who rely on it for real information about Texas agriculture, water security, and fighting radical threats. Can you say election interference, Meta? The campaign argues started about the timing and brief partial restoration of access point and intentional suppression rather than a routine technical issue of policy review. Miller's team says it's now in direct contact with state and federal officials about what it calls suspicious pattern of censorship targeting a conservative statewide official during the active election. Heads will roll, Miller warned. We won't let big tech silence conservative voices when Texans are heading to the polls. This is not a glitch, it's targeted suppression. And the campaign indicated will continue to press for answers while Meta directing supporters to alternative platforms and channels to receive updates during the early voting period. And Meta did not respond. So what happens is you have people that just don't like him will automatically start going in and reporting his ads and posts as objectionable material, and they'll take them down. And then they'll end up freezing the account, put you in what they call Facebook jail and then it's happened to me before, and you appeal it, and it'll take forever for them to get back to you and stuff. So I understand that, and I like him. He's like, I saw a poll on him the other day. He's way ahead of Nate Sheets, but you gotta understand this is early in the primary voting, and you got to look at it like this. The only poll counts on March 3rd. So we'll see, right? So we'll close it out. No, we'll leave that one open for the morning. All right, so I got everything done so I can actually relax for a few minutes. How many people we got? We got a few that are online with us right now. That's great. So we went over a whole bunch of stuff from Mark Kelly and his stupid idea of like, I may run for president. You ain't got a shot. You got more of a shot to go back up in space than it is to become the president again. Your twin brother has more of a shot to become president than you. Let's put that plain and simple. Before I sign off, let's see what the news is going on real quick. See if I missed anything when refresh. Okay, White House press briefing. Government shutdown over DHS backfires on Democrats. ICE oversight push backfires in limbo. Oh, there may be something coming up about the government shutdown. Because believe it or not, there's still a partial government shutdown affecting 750,000 federal workers. If you have a friend that's a TSA agent and they say, hey, I didn't get paid, chances are they didn't get paid. Okay. Let's see. Nothing. I think we're done. Ex Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says Americans don't want U.S. war against Iran until they pop a nuke over Washington D.C. Okay, she needs to watch what she's saying. Let's see, anything else on here before I take off? Illinois faces $128 million cut after feds find trucker licenses illegally issued. I don't know, man. ATF confiscates thousands of guns allegedly bound for cartels in a shift from Biden era. Enforce the law, right? All right. So let's stop this for the day. Give my voice a chance. I think I'm going to take a benzenate and go lay down for a few hours and get up and go to church. All right. I didn't even shave today, man. Man, keep praying for me, guys. So these are my socials. Thank y'all very much for everyone who's tuned in today. You can find me on X, on Facebook. Since Sid Miller's having problems, we'll call it Facebook. And then we got ScrewTube, and it's Truth Social, and then JP8report@gmail.com. All right, so this is James Pierce with the JP8 Report. I'll catch you on the flip side. I'm out.